All right, we're back. We are still on page 34. We filled in this chart, which was kind of insane. But along the way, we defined two really useful functions that we're going to be able to use on the calculator on the next chart. One that will find the principal coterminal angle and one that will find the reference angle. And that's going to be very useful. So let's see if we can do the next chart. So this chart, basically the same, except now we're gonna get famous angles, and if we get famous angles, we're gonna actually like figure out the values. So hopefully you got that unit circle down. Let's see if we can do this. So once again, I'm gonna go to the calculator, let the calculator do the work on the coterminal and the reference angles. So if you didn't watch the last video, go back and watch the last video, see where these functions came from. That one was garbage. That one was garbage. This one was garbage. But we have two functions, and they are called PC. PC is principal coterminal angle, and then rang, which is reference angle. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do a new thing. I'm going to insert doc 4. I'm going to insert a listen spreadsheets page. And the reason I'm doing this is that I think that the easiest thing to do for me will be to put this here. I'm going to do that whole column. And then here, I would like to find the principal coterminal angle of whatever is in column A. So right there, I got the principal coterminal angle is 30. If I put another thing in here, let me say 185, it should be 185. If I put 371, that's 11 past 360, so it should say 11. And it does. So what I can do now is I can just type in this whole column here. This is one of the coolest features, most underused by like miles, is spreadsheets. So the Inspire has like an amazing spreadsheet capability that can actually do math. And that's the weird part. Like anything you can do on the calculator, you can pretty much figure out how to do here. So I need to finish typing these in. So I think I'll just do it. So bear with me, actually, just like, try to keep up on your own. So the one thing that I didn't expressly say is when I put that formula in at the top, I had to type equals PC and then of A. And then what I'm doing when I put the brackets there, not braces, the brackets is I'm saying use anything in column A. Like, so corresponding things. So whatever's in A8, we're going to put in B8. Whatever's in A25, we're going to put in B25. The result of the action that we take. So -5220. So in the absence of this formula, this function that we made, this is probably a pretty terrible problem. I mean, it's not like super great anyway, but worse if you don't have it. -1290 and 3330. Okay, so we got all of those, and we got to copy those down, and that's going to be fantastic. And then I can also do equals reference angle of, and then I want to do the reference angle of whatever's in B. So if you remember how we made, so what I could have done is I could have made this reference angle thing more general, and I could have done every X in there. I could have made PC of X, and then I could have just fed it any X value I wanted. It would have worked it out. I didn't do that, so now what I have to do is either do reference angle of PC of A, right? And it'll fill in, it's amazing. Look at that, it filled it all in. Or what I was originally gonna do was I was just gonna do the reference angle of whatever's sitting in column B. That was like my original plan. Overwrite. Same result, it doesn't matter which one you do. So now I need to copy these down, and this should definitely be the most entertaining part of the video. But let's see, so 30, 30. Bunch of kids playing outside, which is good. Let the children play. 120 and 60, 330 and 30, 45. 45s are like a check, because if it ends in 5, it's pretty much, if it ends in 5 and it's famous, you basically know what you're getting. 210 and 30, 270 and 90. 270 actually does not have a reference angle. That's one of the flaws in the function that we wrote, is that we didn't count on that. I didn't do anything, so I'm going to say the reference angle is not applicable. And I will show you these when I get back to the spreadsheet, the notes rather. 360, 225. I mean, I assume you're also copying, so this isn't really the worst use of time. It's just not the best use of time. 60 and 60. 180. 180 is quadrantal. It does not have a reference angle. I mean, maybe I'm supposed to write quadrantal. I'll check the directions. 240 and 60. 315 and 45. 150 and 30. And then finally, 90, which does not actually have a reference angle. So this is NA. Or potentially, it's supposed to be quadrantal. I don't really know. So I'm going to go back to the notes. And we're like actually almost done, because all we have to do now, I mean, it's a lot, is fill in quadrants, which is very straightforward. Let's see what the directions are. Put NA for quadrant and reference angle if you get a quadrantal. So there's a couple of those. Let me go back and do that. So NA, NA, and NA. There's one more. Here we go. Yeah, zero doesn't really have a reference angle, so I don't know why I put that. Well, I mean, I put it because I was just blindly following what the calculator said, which is always a risk. All right, quadrant. Quadrant is based on coterminal, not on reference angle, because all reference angles come from the first quadrant, so that'd be ridiculous. So this is quadrant 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Really helpful to know these. 3, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 4. Do I sometimes confuse the second and third quadrant? I think I do. Like I just like confuse them. It's not even like that I don't know. All right. Now what we're doing, filling it in, right? So cosine of 30, radical 3 over 2, sine is 1/2, tangent is root 3 over 3, and now we flip 2 over root 3, root 3. All right, so basing it either on reference angle. So the reference angle thing is incredibly useful here. So what I could actually do is anywhere there's 30 right now, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna copy these. Anywhere I see a reference angle of 30, I'm gonna put these in. And then I will go through and I will fix, because I'm in quadrant 4, only cosine and secant should be positive. So negative, 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 negative. Now, let me do it again. Anywhere I see a reference angle of 30, I'm going to park this. Okay, now we're in quadrant 3. So only tangent and cotangent should be positive. There we go. And I'm going to do it one more time because there's another 30. So here we go. Duplicate. And then where am I putting it though? Right down here. Let's check what quadrant we're in. We're in quadrant 2, so sine is positive, cosecant's positive, everything else is negative. That's a good, I'm gonna do that. That was a good way to do that. Okay, 0, I know that so I'm thinking the unit circle point, it's 1, 0, so I know the cosine is 1, the sine is 0, tangent is sine over cosine, doesn't exist, 1, does not exist. 45, I'm gonna do the 45 next. So this one's actually in quadrant 1, so that's great. 2 over 2, 1, and then root 2, 1. Now I just have to be careful when I use the lasso tool to make sure I don't get any extra stuff. All right, so I'm gonna duplicate this, find another 45, and then fix the quadrants. So let's fix the quadrants here. This is actually quadrant 3. So in quadrant 3, tangent is positive, cotangent is positive, everything else is negative, and we're good. Let's go back and lasso this again. This is a great way to do this. This is saving me a lot of time. I don't know how it's working for you. Probably not as well. But you know, get yourself an iPad and use Notability. Everyone's free to do that, I suppose. Import the notes. You can write all over them. That's basically what I'm doing. So this is quadrant 4, which means cosine is positive. That is the second column. So cosine and secant. So negative, not negative, negative. Done. All right, so now what's next? 60. Is there a first quadrant? There is. Nice. All right, the cosine of 60 is 1/2. The sine is radical 3/2. The tangent is radical 3. And then we do some flipping. So 2/√3, 2, √3/3, which we rationalize just for like historical reasons. It's tradition. And I want to duplicate. And where's my other 60? Here's another 60. What quadrant are you in? Quadrant 3. Quadrant 3, tangent and cotangent are positive. Everything else is negative. So negative, 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 negative. Do it again. I think I saw one other one. So lasso that, and then duplicate. And then where is it? The other 60 up here. Okay, but we're in quadrant 4. Cosine's positive, secant's positive, everything else is negative. So negative, 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 and negative. And then what's left? Oh, there's one more 60. Where's my first quadrant? 60. I want to copy that one, duplicate, and then where are you? Up here. So you really got to hope you got these right if you're going to copy and paste rows and just change little subtle things. Because if you got it wrong, you just guaranteed yourself that you got everything wrong. All right, in quadrant 2, sine and cosecant are positive. Everything else is negative. So put in my negatives. And then finally, I got a bunch of quadrantals left. All right, 270 is 3π/2. That's 0, -1. Cosine 0. Sine is -1. Tangent is sine over cosine. Doesn't exist. -1. Reciprocal of 0 doesn't exist. Reciprocal of doesn't exist, or undefined, is 0. So this 180. All right, 180 is pi. That goes -1, 0. Whoa. Siri just scared the crap out of me. Oh my God. And I don't even know what she's talking about. Wow. That was really frightening. Okay. 180 degrees. That's -1, 0. Cosine's -1. Whoo, that was embarrassing. Sine over cosine is 0. And then reciprocal doesn't exist. -1 doesn't exist. All right, 90 degrees. It's pi/2. So pi/2 is going to be 0, 1. So cosine is 0, sine is 1. Tangent is sine over cosine, doesn't exist. Reciprocal of 1 is 1. Reciprocal of 0 doesn't exist. Reciprocal of doesn't exist is going to be 0. So there you go. Man, I was intensely focused on this, and then Siri just popped up, starts screaming at me. Notice how many times I've said that name and it hasn't started talking. I don't even know if you could hear it. It really scared me. But anyway, I'm not going to redo this video, so who knows what that looks like. But anyway, we're done. Good deal. Trying to talk to me again. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here, and I will see you in the next one.